Rahab lived in the city wall of Jericho, and Rahab was a prostitute. And she's part of the Bethlehem story. She's part of the family tree of Jesus Christ. And today we're going to look at Rahab's story. She lived in the city wall and she was a prostitute, so she's socially marginal and looked down on, but also architecturally marginal. She's in the most vulnerable part of the city. When the city gets attacked, the city wall houses are the first to be hurt. And so she's marginal and she's full of shame and she's at the bottom of society. And yet God is going to choose her and save her and make her part of Bethlehem's story. It's amazing. When the spies come from the people of Israel to check out Jericho, she offers them hospitality. She puts them in her house. She hides them. She feeds them. Hospitality in the Bible is a sacred thing, and it never goes unrewarded. And it's part of Bethlehem's story. Bethlehem, the house of bread, is a house of hospitality to strangers, to outsiders, even to enemies. And Rahab here, she shows hospitality. And as a reward, as a thank you, the spies say to her, actually, when we take the city, your house will not be harmed. Get your family, get your uncles and your aunties and your cousins, put them all in your house and you'll be saved. And that's what she does. She goes, she tells everyone, come into my house. And you can imagine everyone going, why your house? What's so special about you? But she persuades them and she gets her whole extended family into her house. And then when the city walls fall down, the whole city falls to the ground and is burned with fire, except one house. One earthquake-proof house, one fire-proof house, Rahab's house, is still standing amidst the smoke and the rubble. And Rahab and her family stumble out, and they're the only ones that have been saved. It's a bit like Noah's Ark. Those who enter are saved, and those who don't are destroyed. And Rahab's story doesn't end there, because then she marries a prince. She marries a prince. She marries one of the princes of the tribe of Judah. She marries a guy called Salmon, whose father Nahshon is called a prince of Judah. And let me just read from 2 Chronicles and verse 10. 2 Chronicles 10. Ram fathered Amminadab. Amminadab fathered Nahshon, prince of the sons of Judah. Nahshon fathered Salmon. Salmon fathered Boaz. Boaz fathered Obed. Obed fathered Jesse. And as we know, Jesse will be the father of the great King David. And so Salmon and Rahab get married. It's an amazing story of redemption. And then they go and live in the village called Bethlehem. And there they have a son who is called Boaz. And so Rahab goes from outsider to insider, from enemy to family, from deep in shame to given the most honorable place in the story. She has a new address, a new identity, a new beginning, and a new story. And her story, friends, is our story. Because like Rahab, we also don't deserve to be brought into this story. And yet we've been chosen by the love and the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ and brought in. And Bethlehem is always a place of hospitality. It's always a place of outsiders brought in, of foreigners brought into the story of God's people. Here we see another one of those in Rahab. And it's always a place of welcome for refugees. Rahab's a refugee. She's lost her whole life, and yet she's brought into Bethlehem. And even today, Bethlehem continues to be a place where refugees are brought in and given hospitality and given a welcome. And we'll see that as we continue in the Bethlehem story.